So if you've used our script, you will know that you can shift click on most, if not all, of the radio buttons. So if I hold down shift and click here, it's the same as clicking on the main trigger button. Alright, so shift click here, and in 2 seconds it's created all these layers. And it also supports if you somehow have keyframes, it will support that. But ideally you don't have keyframes. Now the other thing is I've set these to default, right? So it creates scale and rotation, and as it says here, it offsets. What's nice about this is if you scale the parent layer, layer 2 is the parent layer which we created. Now if you scale, notice the baked shapes do not increase in size. It's offset, but it pushes them out, so it looks like a position move. So it's something nice. And with the rotation, it offsets the rotation of the parent. Alright, so that's something interesting. Now, one other thing I want to show you very quickly. I've got a little nested composition. It's a hamburger or a burger, and I want to show you how powerful having so many scripts available, and a lot of them, when they work together, it's quite a beautiful thing. Say layer swap. So I want to swap each and every layer here with a duplicate of this guy. So to get this working, we need the swap pattern, this swap pattern, all from one from all. I'm gonna do that. Replace only makes it simple. It does not, these guys will not replace the replacement layer. Hope that makes sense. Because all we want is for this guy to be duplicated as many times as there are copies of the source layers, alright? Or the target layers, sorry. The burger being the source layer and these guys being the target layer. So I've set things up here. I don't need this. Since this parent, I want to swap the parent. I'm going to swap positions. That's super important. I don't want to swap scale because these guys are still at 100%, I think. Alright? Whereas this guy, I want it to stick or stay at 15%. No mask involved. There are expressions for rotation and scale, so I'm going to click that. And then again, I can shift click here to trigger this button, or since I'm already here, I'll just click this, and instantaneously it gets replaced. That's how fast the scripts are, or most of them. Oops. Right, so as you can see, it inherits the positional keyframes, respects the parent, it's got the scale expression. So it's very nice, very quick to create elaborate stuff. So let's do another repeater. Let's look at, alright, this one's pretty heavy. This one has 2 repeaters. And so let's go back to Shape Bakery. Shift click. There it is. So it's created 36 layers. So I'm going to undo. I think it's quicker, and of course it does grids also, right? So very easy, very fun stuff. Now next we're going to look at groups. Where are my groups? Alright, so it's been brought down for some reason. So let's just put it somewhere there. Okay, and shift click here. And that's it. Done. So they've been brought out from here. So even this guy here has got a group and two individual parametric shapes in there. They've been baked individually here. So it supports lots of different options. This one has trim paths, animated trim paths, and these are the shape setups. It works also. Yeah. So after baking, so it's very robust, very powerful. It's not afraid to do its thing. Next, we'll look at vector to shape. Now, if you use the normal vector to shape, what you would get, yeah, it's a bit slow. See, it's still, now it stopped. And what it does is it gives you three groups. So that's group 1, group 2, and then group 3. So there's a whiteboard, there's a red panel, and all the text is in group 1. But if you use this script, let's check out what it does. So because I've got create null parent, it's done just that. It's created a null parent that's centered. So it's got your white panel, red panel, and then all the individual stuff, they've been broken up. And sometimes you get this nice little effect after you bake them. Okay, next we'll look at text to shapes. Let's look at this. So we've got text. It can be 2D, 3D, doesn't matter. And let's do characters. So that's it. So each character is now a shape. And why would you do that? Well, let me undo. With shapes, you've got the advantage of using repeaters as I have here. Okay, so you can combine with a bit of text, a bit of shapes to create something a bit unique. You can also go to words, and then if you wanted to, or if you want to, you can go from words. So this is an individual word now, and if you decide later, okay, for the first 3 words I want them to animate as words, and then the last one as individual characters, you can do that. So you would bake them. Alright, so words, and then by characters. So that's one of the reasons you may want to break things up. So it's insanely powerful. As I showed you, it's much better than the built-in create shapes on vector layer. And in fact, maybe I should do this. Let's delete these. Alright, and let's see what happens when we do create shapes from text. Alright, so it gives you one single shape layer, and it's got all the text in separate shapes, so it's not baked. Alright, okay, that's it. Cheers, bye bye.